do you want to take this and do this? Then join me, Terrence Irvin, Parish Program Coordinator for the Great Ascension Trash Bash, held on March 26th through the 31st. There will be a Trash Bash Award ceremony on Saturday the 31st at 11 a.m. at the Ascension Chamber of Commerce in Gonzales. There'll be food, prizes, and fun for the whole family. Bring the kids, bring your family, bring your friends. But most of all, bring your love for this parish. That's the Great Ascension Parish Trash Bash. Let's clean it up together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Ascension Parish Board of Adjustment now called to order. My name is James Cecil. I'm chairman. At this time, roll call of our members. Ms. Kathy Desideer.
Here.
Mr. Vice Chairman Howard Dalton.
Here.
Mr. David LeBlanc.
Here.
Mr. Brad Walker.
Here.
Mr. Bryce Cox and Mr. Alvin Madera are absent tonight. At this time, I'm going to open up for a public comment period. Anyone like to speak in favor of or against what we do up here? Now is your opportune time to let us have it or actually praise us. Usually we don't get anybody on that one. All right. At this time, I do want to say thank you to Mr. O'Neill and Mr. Dalton here for attending that meeting last night, for the Strategic Planning Committee, for stepping up to the plate on these cul-de-sac issues. Thank you very much, gentlemen. As it stands right now, we want to have the motion for the acceptance of the minutes for the January 23rd meeting of 2007.
Second.
Motion carries. Acceptance of the written decision for January 23rd of 2006 meeting.
Second.
Motion carries. At this time, we're going to go ahead with the public hearings for consider the following variances. First on the agenda tonight, usually I call the ID number. That ID number, if you need a copy of the agenda, that is up on this podium right here. And if you want to know where you're at on that agenda, I suggest you pick one up. At this time, we call ID number 1660.07. That's Lot 48 on Bluff Oak Subdivision for Chad and Laura Jones. That's located on the north side of whatever. Feliciana, I'm sorry. Feliciana Avenue, approximately 750 feet east of Woodville Drive. Anybody? You're speaking for, or?
No, we are.
Okay, you want to step up to the podium now, please? Go ahead and sign in if you haven't signed in already.
Mine says 2006. Oh, that's all screwed up. Let me see your agenda.
Yes,
Go ahead, sir.
We're applying for a 5-foot variance to cross the front building line, just on the garage portion of the house we're trying to build. It's only about a fourth of the front elevation of the house. It is in a T, and it's our understanding that may be allowed in the future.
That was on the agenda last night.
And it's the front of the house would still be 20 feet behind the front of the house next to it. So
It's not affecting the look of the street or the neighborhood or anything.
it actually fits the house a lot better on the lot. We were trying to just get a little distance between the lake and our slab for foundation reasons, and also give us a better turning radius to get in the garage.
We have any questions from the board at this time? No question from the board?
Motion to open public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody like to speak in favor, for or against these young couple requests? No one? Okay.
Motion to
go ahead.
close public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any questions by this board? Any motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move this be approved as written, and we're also attempting to address this particular type of situation with the council to change the standards for turnarounds.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Dalton, second by Mr. Brad, to approve as written. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Motion granted. Variance is granted.
Thank you.
Do we get something in writing, sir, or how does that?
Yes, later on, Mr. Lance, I will be sending you a letter.
Okay.
Within 30 days.
Okay.
And also, Mr. Lance, I believe, will contact him too.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
But you'll have your official letter within 30 days. But Ms. June, you did tell them they can come get their permits right away.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next on the agenda tonight is 1661.07, Lot 16 at Lake Meadow subdivision, located on the east side of Lake Meadow Court, approximately 1,100 feet south of LA Highway 931. State your name, sir, when you approach the podium.
My name is Clay Bridges. I'm the contractor.
And your request is, sir?
My request is to get a variance of 10 feet, making a 15-foot setback instead of 25. If you notice, a T, instead of a circular cul-de-sac, it's a T turnaround at the end of the street. And that sets the property lines back approximately 15 to 20 feet. I would still be behind the street line as far as the line of streets on that east side of the street. But it would keep my house from protruding back past the normal setbacks in the back.
So along the front road, it'd be even with the other ones?
Actually, it would be set back still just a tad bit, set back about 5 feet further than the other.
Than the other existing resident.
Than the other existing, and I built quite a few down that street, and we all have about 20, it's a 25 to 27 foot. They fluctuate a foot or two.
Any questions by this board? I'll open public hearing, please.
Motion to open public hearing.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? No one.
Motion to close public hearing.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questions by this board? Any comments? No comments either? Okay. Any motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that this be approved as written for the same reason.
Second.
Of course, again, Mr. Dalton has a motion that it be approved as written due to the cul-de-sac issue, and Mr. Brad Walker has seconded. Any opposition? No opposition? Variance is granted, sir.
Thank you.
Making it too easy on me, guys. It's going to get tough, huh? Next on the agenda tonight is 1662.07 for Mr. Albert Royer, located on the south side of Gold Place Road, approximately 180 feet west of Camilla Road. You're Mr. Albert Royer?
Yes, sir. Albert Rouillet.
Yeah, okay.
I live on 44351 Gold Place Road. Born and raised in Gold Place. I filed a variance for to move a mobile home behind my house. My wife and I take care of our son, who got in an accident when he was 19 years old, and he's now 38. I'm on disability, and she's been diagnosed with major problems. we would like to get our son to move a mobile home, a small 2-bedroom mobile home behind my house, so he could help us take care of our son.
This is your other son?
Yeah, I have 138, and the one
That's the one that's...
he's the one that's hurt.
Okay.
Been 19 years, and my other son's 40 years old. The one that wants to move the trailer behind my house and help us out.
Okay. Any questions by this board? Any questions? Open public. Go
I
ahead,
have
sir.
one for Ms. June. Ms. June, this is a point of making sure everything's clear. On the agenda, this is listed as 1662.07, but on the actual variance request, it's 1662.06.
That, when you see that 0 something, that's the year, so the 06 is wrong. The point marks the year.
Really doesn't matter, then, is what you're telling me. Okay, that's correct. There's several like that.
Yeah, that's my agenda.
Motion to open public hearing?
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody who would like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Again, go ahead and close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Public hearing is now closed. Any questions by this board? Any concerns?
I have a comment. It sounds to me like, Mr. Rio, you have 3 people living in the current house that are all disabled in one way or the other, and you're asking so that you can have your son who is able, who is also willing to do this, to move
Yes, sir.
mobile home.
You're right.
All right, thank you. I move that we approve.
Do we have any further questions? Okay. Go ahead, sir.
I move we approve this motion as requested.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion for Mr. David LeBlanc and second by Mr. Howard Dalton to approve this as written. Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries. Variance is granted, sir.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 1663.07 for John and Sandra Kluwat, located on the north side of Highway 431, approximately 170 feet east of Vera Lane. Have you signed in, sir?
Yes, sir.
State your name.
John Kluwat, and I'm seeking approval to open up a child daycare of 2,500 square feet.
Well, as far as open up your child care, what actually are you requesting? The variance of what, sir?
Had to have one at 2,500 square feet.
What I see is you're requesting 497 feet. Is that correct?
497 feet.
And said the variance that's being requested is 497 square feet. Is that what you're requesting?
The written and the type don't agree with each other.
I see that. Miss June, can you help us out there? It looks like he's requesting 2,500 feet.
503.
Okay,
It should be
I don't know where he's
1,500
got
square
the 2,500 square feet. The living area in the home is only 1,997. So if you take that from the 1,500 from that, his variance is only for 497 feet.
Okay.
2,500 may have been the total area of the house, but we're only concerned with the living.
Well, I'm going to be closing in the carport. That's what would bring it up to the 2,500.
Evidently, we weren't aware of that.
Any questions? Any questions by this board? Any concerns?
Sir, what is around this property in the way of other land usage?
What's around it, MB Heating and Air Conditioning is next door.
You got a commercial unit next door?
Yeah.
Back page.
And on the other side?
It's 2 rent houses.
Thank you.
What was the other variance in March of 2002 on an adjoining property for a similar variance for a daycare? What happened to the daycare on that piece of property?
I didn't have enough property to build buildings large enough. I ran into a lot of problems with it, so I kind of canceled that project.
So what's on that property now?
No, nothing. I never did do anything with that.
Ms. Desideer, you looked like you had a question earlier.
No, I think I figured it out.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open public hearing, please.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody out there in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Nobody? Okay, go ahead and close public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further discussion or questions by this board? No one?
Mr. Chairman, my only concern with this particular request is, based on what the gentleman has just said and what's on paper, there's about a 500 and so square foot discrepancy, and that bothers me. I kind of feel like the request ought to accurately reflect what is being desired. And I'm not clear on that just exactly yet. If I understand it correctly, he wants to enclose his carport and add 497 square feet to bring this up to 2,500 square foot variance, which would be actually 1,000 square foot variance. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I am kind of confused on that myself. I don't know if any other board members are, but I am quite confused on this one.
I am confused as well. My question would be, are you going to utilize the carport?
Yes, sir.
Part of the daycare?
Yes, sir.
So you need the whole amount of the 2,500 square feet?
Right.
How large is your lot that this is on?
It's right at 1 acre.
What we're trying to decide then is the 1,000 square feet variance.
That's what it looks like to me. Is what we're trying to decide on here is almost 1,000 foot compared to the 497 that I'm looking at, that which was written, and
I mean, basically, I don't see on the paper where it's written that it would not have been.
Did y'all look at his application? He does have the 2,500 written on the application.
Got the 2,500 on the application?
And I'm not sure where the other part came from.
Right, and I don't have an issue with that, and so I'll make a motion that we accept the variance based on the fact that it's consistent with what we've done in the past with daycare centers. We've allowed 1,000, we've allowed all the way up to about 2,000 extra square feet on daycare centers, and I think it's very consistent with what we've done in the past, so I'll make a motion we accept the variance.
We'll second that, especially since he's sitting on a 1 acre lot. I think he's got plenty of room outside for a side yard as well. So.
Included in the motion, excuse me, is that it's 1,000 square feet.
It's 1,000 square feet that we're talking about, not 497 feet, okay? So that believe me, this is benefiting you. It sounds like a little problem here, but it does benefit you.
Right.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Cox and a second by Mrs. Desideer to approve a variance for 1,000 feet instead of the 497. Everybody in agreement with that?
I understand the motion.
Okay. Any opposition?
One.
You got one opposition. Mr. Brad Walker has disagreed. Motion is carried. Variance is granted for 1,000 feet, not 497.
Thank you.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
And you'll have to get with Miss June and her department and for your permits and stuff like that. Okay, sir?
Will do.
All right, sir. Next on the agenda is 1663.07 for John and Sarah Cluot. Oh, we just did that. I'm sorry. 1664.07, Track 2, Clarence R. Halpin property for John Gibson, located on the south side of Bayou Trace Drive, approximately 3,400 feet west of LA Highway 22.
James Valgu representing Mr. John Gibson on the following plat, asking for a reduction on the lot frontage on a public street and actual lot sizes. The lots are actually being configured actually in larger sizes than the lots that are existing, both directions of the property.
Any questions by this board? No one? Go ahead and open public hearing, please.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? No one? Close public hearing, please.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any questions or concerns?
So all we're trying to do is make the lots like Z2 and Z3 throughout the whole development?
Excuse me?
The only thing you're trying to do is like on track Z2 and Z3, that's the size that you're looking at making Z1?
No, well, we actually split up the whole lot into, it was track Z, now Z1 through Z5. All the existing lots that are surrounding this property are 80 feet wide. And all the ones that we're creating on here are actually larger than the ones that are existing.
Say that again?
If you see from the map, we're actually taking this whole acre tract right here.
Right.
And dividing it up into lots.
Divided up into 5 lots.
Yeah. And each lot, the zoning requirements is 100 foot of frontage by 1 acre lots.
Right.
And this is Bayou Terrace subdivision. All the lots in there are 80 feet by 150 feet or 200 feet deep. It varies. So we're actually splitting it up into lots that are actually bigger than the existing surrounding lots.
The lots that are adjacent to it?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
I'm a little confused because it's a conservation, because of the fact that it's in a conservation district, which is supposed to be 1 acre lots. As we know, in a lot frontage 100 feet. And if the surrounding lots, was there a variance given at that time or something on those lots to make them that small?
I can explain that. That was an existing subdivision. That was an existing subdivision that was done prior to zoning that conservation. So all the lots in that subdivision that's all along the diversion canal. All those lots were approved before they did zoning, and then you had some tracts that were not part of it that are all part on the same right-of-way.
And he's trying to make the subdivision look the same.
Okay, so he's trying to, because I mean, being in the conservation, I mean, I'm looking at that you know, if it would be, if just one of those, if it was Z1 through Z4 instead of 5, they would be closer to the right size in the conservation district. You know, they still need a variance, but they would be closer to the right size. So, I mean, that's my concerns, you know, being in the conservation district. But if it's in a neighborhood where we're matching it up.
Mm-hmm. Even at the River Highlands, all those lots are actually smaller than 80 feet. The front part and in the back, they're 80 feet too. So it's pretty much congruent with everything out there.
And like you said earlier, that was, you know, pre-existing.
Okay.
Any other further questions or concerns?
And also, aren't part of these like in wetlands? Aren't part of these lots across Bayou Terrace? No. Okay.
Yeah, they're on the opposite side of the Virgin Canal.
Okay.
Wetland studies weren't part of this. If there is any wetlands issue, the owners of the property would have to get the permits or whatever they have to do to develop it or build on it, which from what they plan on doing is probably just putting a storage shed on the front of it like most of the properties out there, just to park a boat.
Okay.
Any further questions? No further questions?
I would move that we approve this as requested. It's in harmony with the rest of the neighborhood. We've approved several of these lot size reductions on that side of the street.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Desideer and Mr. Brad Walker, second motion to approve this as written. Any opposition? No opposition. Variance is granted, sir. Motion carried. See if I can get this agenda straight tonight. ID number is 1665.07 for Rock Church, located on the north side of Churchpoint Road, approximately 850 feet east of Roddy Road.
Mr. Chairman, it says withdrawn right underneath it.
Yeah, it is. Sorry. Miss June. Is that someone here for Rock Church?
Yes, and we, okay. In all the confusion in the last couple of weeks, we forgot to notify them that it was pulled by us, and we forgot to notify them that we pulled it. So that's what I'm letting him know. What has been decided is that because of the size of the church, and the church is not a regular building like with the other ones are, that he could build it with no variance. It's
with no variance at all.
Thing in the institution.
So this is not even an issue.
So it's no longer an issue.
Okay, thank you, Ms. June. Now it's officially withdrawn. Like I said, I'm having a hard time with this agenda tonight, ladies and
There's
gentlemen.
someone in the back that has a concern.
We do have somebody here to speak against it. It'd be a moot point, sir, if you're speaking in favor of or against that gentleman's request, because he's, according to what I understand right now, they're allowed to build as needed without a necessary for a variance. So are you here to speak for or against the?
Against.
Okay. Well, as you just heard.
I just want him to know what's on the property, what's buried in a pond. That used to be a pond. Yeah. That the parish used their equipment and their dirt to come out of ditches to fill in.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear this if we could.
Yeah.
I don't. Be honest with you, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's a moot point. I think it would take time of this board for right now. I think it'd be a moot point.
It may be, but if you don't mind, I'd still like to hear it.
Well, I think they don't require a variance, and it's not necessary. And if you would like to talk to these gentlemen, get their phone number.
Is this hazardous material or something?
Yes. Yes.
That needs to be addressed. That has nothing.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this board.
Well, where would they address that?
To the parish.
To the parish council?
Yes, or to the parish office.
See, we live adjacent to this property, and we received a letter to come for the variance tonight.
Right.
And we wanted to come and let the public know what's going on this piece of property.
Well,
it has gone on, I should say.
And in that respect, I want to let you go to the parish office and explain that situation. I think it's admirable that you do that. I think everybody, as a citizen in this parish, should have a voice. But unfortunately, this is not the board or the time to do that.
Okay.
And I understand your concerns, but it's not before this board tonight.
Okay.
And we do have a large audience tonight, and I'm trying to move fairly quickly. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
One more thing before you leave, gentlemen. If you have concerns about hazardous material, there's always a state DEQ that you can go to with this type of thing. And if you know of hazardous materials, if something should be addressed, I encourage you to do that.
Yeah. See, we lived there all of our lives. We know exactly what's there.
I understand, but that needs to be brought to light if you have serious information.
And even though it was more like a mistake to come here tonight, actually, I think it's going to benefit you. So I suggest that you move forward with this. If you know exactly and you have evidence, I suggest strongly that you move forward with this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is 1666.07 for Darrell G. Gray. It's located on the west side of LA Highway 73, approximately 100 feet north of Longwood Avenue. We have anybody in the audience that's, we have a Daryl G. May here tonight. We still have people that's coming in. I suggest we move it to the end of the agenda. Or
I'll make a motion to move it to the end.
Second.
okay, we're going to take ID number 1666.07 for Daryl G. May and go ahead and move that to the end of the agenda for right now. Next on the agenda is 1667.07 for Carolyn Dewey. It's located on the north side of Penny Duplessis Road, approximately 1,400 feet east of Tannis Road, I'm sorry. Miss June, this is just kind of, but they were sent a letter saying that the one we just moved to the end of the agenda was, they were notified.
Yeah, I can't promise you if you got it or not, 'cause I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes they come back.
But they haven't come back that you're aware of.
Because I haven't really checked them back.
Okay. Okay, thank you, dear. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here to ask for a variance to have a trailer put onto my land. It's not quite an acre. I think y'all have the paperwork showing where I live, the property and stuff. To have my mother and my father move a trailer onto my land because they're up in age and health, and they're capable of taking care of themselves day to day, but they need somebody real close because they've fallen and their health is really bad. So
now that's your mother and father?
Yes, sir.
What, they're in the audience tonight?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Any questions by this board? Go ahead and open public hearing, please.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody like to speak in favor of or against this young lady's request?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any questions or concerns by this board we need to address now? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that this be approved as written, because it's for an immediate family, and it's almost a 1 acre lot.
I'll
Second.
Ms. Desideer seconds. Mr. Bryce Scott, Mr. Cox, you want to say something? No? Okay. We have a motion on the floor to accept as written. Any opposition? No opposition? Motion carries. Variance is granted, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 1668.07, lot 531 and 682, the Greens at Pelican Point, first filing, part 2, located on the north and south side of the Courtyard Drive, approximately 1,000 feet west of Green Park Drive. You also had some additional information. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Kevin Williams. I'm representing Pelican Point Properties, and I'm here to make a request for a rear setback variance on lot 531 of 1'4" and lot 682 of 4'6". Right now it's 20 feet, and I'd like to change it to 18.6 on lot 531 and 15.4 on lot 682, so we can fit the footprint of our house.
So you can fit, sir, what?
The new house.
Okay.
We're constructing 2 new houses.
Are they under construction right now?
No, sir.
Question.
Go ahead. Anybody on the board have any questions or concerns at this time?
When it comes to Pelican Point, it's usually, are we blocking the golf course from another house on the side? Is usually what conspires to on Pelican Point. Are these going to be blocking anything on the sides? Other views of from other houses?
I would imagine that there would be. I did speak with the Jonays, and I think they're here in opposition of that.
On which lot? Both of them, or just one?
Just one of them.
The 531 or the 682?
The 682.
Well, I have a concern here in viewing what you just handed us. It looks like you want to be 18 foot 6 inches and 15 foot 4 inches respectively. And on your application for the variance, looks like you're asking for a blanket 10-foot variance. Which is it?
It would be the 15.4 and the 18.6. So really, I'm asking for 4'6" variance on lot 682 and a 1'4" on lot 531.
Okay, I just want to get that clear for the record.
Okay.
If we will grant the variance as written, it's a 10-foot variance, which is not what you're asking for, and there's a lot of difference there.
Sure.
I'm just a little bit confused on the math part of this, if you will, Howard, because of that statement in there that says that a variance of 15 was granted on 682. One lot 682 was granted 5-foot variance of 15 feet from the rear property line on August 2006. And if that's the case, then why does he even need a variance on 682 at this point?
Good point.
If he's already got a variance for 5 feet, and he's only going to be 15.4 or 4 feet 6 inches or 4 feet whatever that is, 8 inches or whatever, he's within the variance that he's already been granted.
Maybe Ms. June could answer that question. I can't.
Ms. June?
That variance was granted in August of 2006. I don't know if he was working for Pelican Point at that time, if he was even aware of that variance being
Were you aware that a variance was already given on lot 682?
No, I was not.
So is that variance still in effect, Counsel?
Ms. June, if we grant this variance for the 18-foot 6 and the 15-foot 4, which is more restrictive than the previous variance granted, which one would prevail? O'Neill?
If he's got a 5-foot variance, he doesn't need a variance.
I mean, it's a moot point to even vote on.
It's a moot point
to even vote on that.
You don't go into that.
Right.
Okay. The other one would just be the variance that he's requesting would be 1 foot, whatever it is, 1 foot.
1'4".
1'4" on the opposite.
1 foot variance, he doesn't need a variance. He doesn't need a variance.
So really, if we make a motion, just make a motion on 531.
Well, actually, I was just looking if we could make it more restrictive to keep it tighter, but if it's a moot point, it's a moot point.
It already exists.
Yeah.
So
we can't change it.
Yeah, we've already done it. I've already signed it, and it's already been taken care of. And of course, it's probably my fault, but I suggest that were you working for Pelican Point?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, you wasn't?
So it looks like you only need one variance tonight, not
Sounds good.
lots.
You also need to talk to your secretary.
Yes, sir.
Well, then I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on the other half of the variance.
531.
Second.
We're going to open it up just on 531.
Yeah.
Correct.
For the 1'4".
Correct.
We did get a second on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. Public is now open. Where do you see? Just a moment. Where do you see this in?
I'm sorry, what you looking at?
682
So
and 531.
And you got a typo. You're on the same one I am? Yes. You've got a typo on yours that I don't have on mine. It's 682 and they got 382.
382. This is what's killing me up here.
Miss June, we have typos on some of our reviews.
682 for that second item.
It says 382
Step back up,
instead
please.
of 682.
I'm going to ask you a question. The more I look at this, the more it's killing me. I also got lot 382 up here.
Whatever on the plat.
Which is 682.
Yeah, I think that's just a typo.
Yeah, it's a typo. He doesn't even have 382 written on the application.
All right.
It should have been 682 right there.
Yeah, and it is on the plat that time.
Which he doesn't need a variance for.
Public hearing is now open. And do we have anybody in the audience like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Please sign in and step to the podium and state your name, please. You didn't have that on?
I got 682. I don't know how you got it. I understand, but it's...
All right.
Yeah, so my name's Ed Johnny. I happen to live next door to 682. My lot is 683. And I just want to get a good understanding that this man, the Pelican Point, doesn't need any variance. They already have the 5-foot variance.
Yes,
and
correct.
he's only requesting a 486 tonight.
Right.
So it's a moot point.
Yes, sir.
That's what we just discovered.
Okay. So I can understand.
We're not giving him any more.
We're not giving him any more, and we're not taking anything away from him. He's getting what he...
My understanding was that he wanted a total of 10 feet.
No. No, sir.
Okay.
That is not
Because
not
that's
correct.
why I'm here.
Okay.
That's
No,
why
sir, that
I
is
thought
not
he would get
correct.
10 feet. Very good. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request? Go ahead and close the public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now closed. Any further questions by this board?
I move to approve the 531 as written.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to stop you.
Not
As requested.
As requested.
No, not as requested. I have to object to that.
Okay. Then what are we looking at? We're looking at 1 foot
As
4.
requested is 10 feet.
It is request, and I was just discovering that, and I appreciate the gentleman that brought that
I'd like to
our
offer a
attention.
substitute motion that we approve it with a 1 foot 4 inch variance for lot 531, not 10 foot.
Can I come back?
No, sir. It's already closed.
Can we clarify that with I mean, because the way it's written up, he's asking for a 10-foot
I know, but
variance.
you're
He's brought up a plan, and he said it was 1 foot.
Foot 4.
I'm saying, what I'm suggesting is, if you want, if he's asking for 1 foot, if tonight, if that's what he wants, then make the motion for the 1 foot, whatever it is.
What I just
1
made.
foot 4,
Right.
and not the 10 foot.
I just made that.
Okay.
Not the 10 foot
Second.
variance.
We got a second? We got a second?
motion.
Okay. Ms. Desider, second Mr. Dalton's request.
To withdraw his
I'll withdraw my first motion.
Well, can I?
Motion is withdrawn.
This variance that I got,
I'm sorry, sir. That part of the meeting is over, okay?
is he going to get a 5-foot variance?
No, sir. Okay, any opposition? No opposition?
Just to make clear, the motion is for the 1.
1 foot 4.
Not 10 foot.
Not 10 foot.
Lot 531 only.
Okay, I'm in favor of that.
Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries for 1 foot 4 for lot 531.
There's no variance on 682. It's moved. It should not be taken up.
Okay.
He already has a 5-foot variance.
I didn't get that question.
Next on the agenda tonight is 1669.07, lot 164 for Bayou Trace Estates for Ronald and Melissa Scott, located on the north side of Bayou Trace Drive, approximately 5,080 feet west of LA Highway 22. Approach the podium, sir. State your name.
My name is Ronald Scott.
And your request is?
My request is to get a 10-foot variance for setback on my home.
Any questions from this board at this time?
Ron, let me ask you, so it says here in the notes here that the home has already been constructed, is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's still under construction.
Did your builder not look at the fact that he needed this before he got started, or?
I'm the builder. I'm building it myself.
Okay.
And basically, I brought my plans and the plot plan to the parish permit office, and they approved the plans. The home actually sits 50 feet from the center of the road. It's supposed to be 55. The steps, which are not considered by the parish part of the structure, they come out to the 45-foot mark. So that's why I was asking for the 10 feet.
If they're not considered part of the structure, according to the parish, then why does he need a variance?
Because he needs a variance for the 5-foot.
I need I need it for the 5-foot regardless. I mean, if the permit officer would have informed me, hey, this plot plan shows 50 feet from the center of the road.
I see.
But the steps, the foundation the steps sit on are actually are connected to the foundation of the home. Even though it's a kind of a gray area from what I'm being told.
Okay.
I mean, if I would have been told differently, I would have been here before.
Okay.
Mr. Scott, I'm looking at the plats provided here, and the one showing the lot 164 adjacent with all the other lots in that subdivision shows a 50-foot building line. The plot plan done for you by Swan Designs and Construction show a 50-foot building line and is also stamped reviewed for code compliance by the Ascension Parish Building Department.
Correct.
My impression is that at this point in time you're now being told that that's all wrong, that the building line is actually 50 feet.
55 is what I'm being told.
Which means that the Ascension Parish Building Department approved this in error. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then this is no fault of yours.
I would have been here before. I would not have started building the house.
It's okay, you can say. We won't shoot. You can say that.
But the building planning committee in the neighborhood, the maximum they want any home or any part of the structure of the home, including steps, they consider steps structure. The parish said that they don't consider that structure, but
well, neighborhood associations and things like that, that's a civil issue. That has no relevance to us. That's strictly a civil issue. If they don't like what you do, all they can do is sue you.
Okay.
That we don't enforce neighborhood restrictions.
Okay. Well, no other home in the subdivision has any portion of the structure more than 45 feet. And this, I'm trying to make sure that I don't have an issue later if somebody says, oh, well, the steps are connected to the foundation as part of the concrete, even though it's not covered.
So that's why you're asking for the 10 feet?
Yes, sir. I only need 5 feet according to the parish, but my foundation that the steps sit on, which is connected to the slab, is at the 45-foot mark.
Just let me make a comment. You can give a variance if that's what you decide to do, but that doesn't resolve the issues with the subdivision group.
They've already approved it at 45 feet.
Okay.
They don't have any issues at all.
So they have.
As long as I don't go not an inch past the 45-foot mark, I'm okay with them.
We are sympathetic to neighborhoods, but we can't do anything about it, and that's when you mentioned that they had an issue.
Yeah. Well, originally the steps were going to come straight down. Right. And it would have been 20 inches past that 45-foot mark.
Okay.
Okay, which is not considered part of the structure according to the parish, but the subdivision people, they consider that part of the structure. That's why it even somebody complained in the neighborhood that it was going to come out farther. That's why I'm here today. I would have never known. I would have been living in my house, and it could have been brought up later, and I don't know what kind of trouble we would have been in.
Thanks, sir.
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody like to speak in favor of or against this gentleman's request?
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.